Good evening, welcome. We are going to have ourselves our third and final game of the evening. Meet Your Makers so far undefeated here in the Excellent Moscow Cup. And this game could actually put them in a very confident position to actually make it to the top four. Top four means that they actually go to Moscow land finals. Top four compete for $20,000. We're going to see if they can secure that place, or if they can secure a top four spot, rather. We're going to have the Retry versus Meet Your Makers, and once again, I am joined by Vickermont. Welcome back.
Hey, good to be back.
Good to be
Sorry
back too. We have Ancient Apparition actually banned out this time with Naga Siren, so we're going to see perhaps Mr. Ember Spirit.
Yeah, the AA ban I think makes sense, even though he was like, we had that conversation obviously in the last game that like, is he gonna come through or not? No, no way. Ember, these are, gotta ban these heroes. Gotta ban Lycan. Lycan's worse than anybody. Ember just like nobody wants to play against, and nobody wants to play the heroes that counter him.
It's the same with Lycan though, because it's not like he's unbeatable like he at some point was. It's just that he's so annoying to deal with.
Lycan's so damn close to unbeatable.
He's still not the Lycan that he used to be.
He's not. That Lycan was the most OP hero, probably in the modern history of Dota, like post like 6.57 or whatever. Yeah. No, even before Dota 2, but like I mean, obviously, like if you go back to like Dark Terminator or whatever, like old Pudge or something, but. Lycan was pretty gross. Current Lycan is also pretty gross though, Shiver. Like even Lycan didn't have heart on the wolves. And now you just get a free heart. It's great.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like what the thing is, if you nerf him, he'll probably not see the light of day ever again. If you you can't buff him either, obviously, but I don't know.
I mean, I actually think that Lycan was playable like 2 buffs ago. And I think you and I like talked about it. We were like Lycan's actually like pretty good. People should start picking him, and they finally have. And turns out he's OP as hell. But I don't think he's only I don't think 6.80 he went from like trash to great. Like I actually think he was like really good before.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna see him this game. We have Dazzle together with the Centaur picked up first with the Chen and Invoker for the retry. So kind of already revealing a little bit about what they're planning on doing. We've got ourselves a mid Invoker most likely by ZXC, and the support of Chen. And once again, by the way, interesting to note is that Blow Your Brain is standing in for the retry, as well as they were, of course, standing in for a head in the previous game. So they just like playing Meet Your Makers. He just like playing Meet Your Makers. Sorry, what?
No, I'm just amused that he's doing the stand-in rotation thing.
Yeah. Didn't have enough of getting beaten down on his Morphling. Let's see which hero is going to get this time. Nexus is the one that is not here for the retry, so he will be replaced in the core hero, replacing the carry, with PGG and Paradise. Both of those actually play offlane or support, so I'm curious to see which one is going to be which in this game, as I'm not sure if PGG is actually the Chen player or not.
I've seen PGG Chen. It's fine, I think.
I mean, he plays the Enigma as well.
I think they'll probably have PGG play support, probably. I don't know. I feel like most of the time, like in the last few years, he's mostly been in a support role. Yeah. It also depends on if he's calling the plays, but it looks like he's like drafting and probably play calling, so that's usually better suited to a support role.
I agree. We're in the second banning phase, and surprisingly enough, 2 heroes are banned that normally, I mean, they get picked up sometimes, but not really that often do you see them banned, like Shadow Shaman. It's great against Centaur, of course, you can hold people in place, it's nice. But the Templar Assassin removed, it's just showing like, I mean, of course it's an okay hero against an Invoker, but I guess it's good with Dazzle with the minus armor stride. I am surprised to see it banned out here in the second banning phase, though. I was not expecting it to be picked up by Meet Your Makers.
I think yeah, it's tough to say, although I do think that TA would be a pretty good pick here. TA is an interesting hero where if you sort of smell that the other team might pick her in their 4th or 5th pick, it's very, very important that you actually get that ban out, because she wins games. Like, if you look at the top heroes in terms of like how often they win in professional games, you have a lot of heroes that are like insta picks. Like Shadow Shaman is really, really strong. AA is really strong. Lycan is insane. And then you have TA, who's actually has one of the highest win rates, but is picked very not often.
Yeah,
and that's because she's like the pure 5th pick hero, right?
Yeah, and she is very situational as well. Like if she is good, she is amazingly good. If she's not good, then you won't pick her. right? I mean, is that simple?
Yeah, basically.
Well, we'll see. They also removed the puck, so another mid-hero removed for the retry. As, I mean, they have their mid-hero, so they're going to be okay with that one. Clockwork now removed as well, which is a hero that we talked about in the previous game during the draft, where he is indeed a strong hero against that Centaur. If he wants to run at someone, then he doesn't want to get blocked. Cog blocked! I'm sorry, I had to say that.
You're really, like, in the mood for puns today, even more than usual, I feel like.
It's so stupid because they're so lame and obvious, I just can't help but pointing them out.
Well, at least you admit it, I guess.
Yeah, even Diego was upset that
even the cat has turned against you.
Hey, can you stop making puns? Okay, Diego. Don't worry. Okay, the retry. They're actually using quite a bit of their bonus time, which is something that Meteor Makers hasn't really done yet this game. They need still one extra support, and of course they need core. They haven't revealed that much yet about their offlane slash safe lane, but the thing that we do know is that they're not going to run an aggressive tri lane, which is something that is good for Meteor Makers because they could actually decide to go for an aggressive tri lane. Now, they were up against a Centaur in the previous game, of course, Centaur on the safe lane, running the aggressive tri lane. That was the thing that Ahead was doing. They could choose to do this. Dazzle and Sand King is a very nice combination to have. Are you there? Lou? I lost him.
Sorry, I gotta run AFK for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay, so
Sorry.
No, that's okay. The reason why Dazzle and Sand King are strong together is, of course, you have the poison to set up for a burst strike. Don't really need level 2 burst strike. At least not like you don't necessarily need to get your burst strike off. That's nice to have. And if you sit in a sandstorm, the heal can go off, and that Sand King is going to be fine as well. So I've got a good initiation. Although now with the Spectre pickup, if they still want to run an aggressive tri lane, it's going to be Spectre that's going to be alone, and she's just not that strong of a hero to go alone. So I'm curious to see how they're going to deal with this. And perhaps it's just going to be the Sand King in the jungle that we have seen before as well. Sand King in the jungle can actually get himself a Blink Dagger very fast. We just heard a few hours ago that Wagamama had a teammate that was able to get it in 6 minutes. Just by stacking and pulling and just sandstorming those creeps to death. And 6-minute Blink Dagger on Sand King is scary. That's one of those items that is game changing. Can turn the entire dynamic of teams around, can turn the entire dynamic of fights around. The Sand King overall, by the way, very strong against that Bat Rider, because if Bat Rider blinks in and grabs someone, Sand King normally is fast enough to get the Burrow Strike out so that Bat Rider cannot drag his target too far away. Venomenter gets picked up now by the retry as well. Interesting that we saw him first banned in the previous game and only 4th picked here in this game. It's an okay hero. I mean, they kind of lack disables is what I'm finding for the retry right now, but that really also depends on their last hero. But Bat Rider so far is the only real hard disable that they have. Cold Snap, not that hard of a disable. So I'm curious to see how the retry is going to deal with, especially the Spectre. Spectre kind of needs someone to hold her in place if you want to try and kill her off. And same thing goes for Centaur and everybody actually. Centaur or Spectre most of all. But lacking of disables now for the retry. They need one more core hero. We have the Lifestealer removed by Meteor Makers, so they don't want to have to deal with that one. Of course, that would be the Bat Stealer bomb that they want to remove. We still have a lot of strong heroes in the pool, though, a lot of strong carries. Most of all, I'm thinking about the Luna at this point. Also, because she does have that mini disable. It's not really ideal, but at least it's something else that can interrupt, which is something that they could definitely use. For Meteor Makers, so far, what we could say is that they are lacking a mid hero. It could be Dazzle, however, that could go mid, and Invoker potentially could do it as well, but they actually go for the Zeus. I'm not sure what to think of it, but I like it. I definitely am okay with it. If he doesn't do well in the early game, well, then Centaur will be coming up. Like, there's a lot of there's a bit of a safety net for Zeus. Zeus overall in this game, you would want to use him as a hero to buy time for a Spectre to farm up. But even if he fails, there's still going to be a Centaur and a Sand King that could possibly create a lot of space. And welcome back.
10 seconds remaining.
Was that a back? I thought it was back.
5 seconds.
I thought I heard something, but I guess I did
yes,
not.
I was said wow at the Zeus. The
yeah.
strat's taking shape. I remember DK doing this.
Yeah, Zeus has actually been picked up a couple of times in this
Whoa,
tournament
Clinks
as well.
Huh. It's an interesting choice.
If he gets his Orchid up, it's gonna be good. If he doesn't, it's gonna be very bad.
Right. If they can just level the Zeus very well, and they can actually pop the clicks right out of Skellywalk with the ult. Or not pop him out of it, but at least make him visible and just respond to it. Even there, except for Sand King, a little bit like light on this. Well, no, actually, Centaur's there too. I don't know. I think Blow Your Brain obviously loves playing Clinks. Like he's a very good Clinks player, in the farming role. But I still think that this is a pretty risky play, as you said. If he gets the Orchid fast, it's a good time, and if he doesn't, it's something less than a good time. But the Zeus pick is the same way. It can backfire horribly. And this is a Zeus that probably needs to go like Linken's, so that's not a damage item, but he needs Linken's at some point.
I'm a bit worried more for the Retry than I am for Meteor Makers though, because it feels like Meteor Makers have got a safety net in the form of a Spectre, while the Retry does not really have a safety net to fall back on if that Klinks doesn't get his Orchid up fast enough.
Right. They're way more all in. I agree with you. I mean, especially Veno. I mean, I think Veno's an interesting hero. He went from, I thought he was really overrated, but now I think he's kind of underrated almost, because the hero does do damage. Like, hero's an amazing damage dealer, especially like once people like. So he
30 seconds.
it's interesting because Veno actually doesn't become that powerful in terms of like his overall ult power until people are hitting their BKBs. But then actually late game, when people's BKBs are short, Veno's like amazing again. Like insanely good. Because
Especially,
you can't. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, well, because at some point he's gonna have an Aghanims, and especially once those BKBs are low, that's gonna be later on in the game, he'll have some time to farm up. I'm curious to see who's gonna be taken on the 4 role, and who's gonna be taken on the 5 role for the retry though, because Chen is also a support that needs a bit of items.
They missed their dewarding thing on this ward here. Oh, but they ping it. Wow, PGG knows the exact spot of the ward. That's legit. Yeah, nice work.
Very nice work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess he deduced based on this coverage that it was almost certainly here to block this camp, because nobody like putting a word like here just to block this camp is like just bad. Like if the other team does it, you almost just want to let them do it because they wasted a word.
Yeah. Well, we have got safe trial lane with the Spectre. Suicide lane for the Centaur, but he picked up boots first. He should be okay. And Ines said, what do you think about the lack of disable on the retry? This is like heaven for the Centaur in the top lane for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty classic Centaur off lane use case. Like, this is almost ideal where you'd want it. The only thing is, he's not like he doesn't have like a shield yet. I actually think a shield would be a really big deal just to deflect some of the damage that'll come from Blow Your Brain. Because you can see, Klinks is such an amazing laner. I think actually what's going to happen is you're just going to see these supports completely ignore the lane because they have 0 chance of killing him. And you'll just see Veno jungling and Chen jungling to try to get fast levels. Because Klinks is fine 1v1 against the Centaur, but adding the 2 supports doesn't like improve their kill potential unless Android gets great luck.
Ooh. Paradise was seeing some chance of maybe killing off Crit, but Crit backed off in time and has of course got back up as well, but yeah, that could turn out very scary if that's Sand King wasn't close enough. Ace actually is thinking about maybe getting his first blood. Yeah, there we go! Double Edge comes out and the Gale actually completely whiffs. Ace gets his gold, gets his levels. That's a good start for an offlane Centaur. That's a bit scary start for an offlane Centaur if you ask me. We haven't really introduced the players just yet because we didn't. But let's also not do that right now because we've got a smoke up. PGG and Android P moving towards the middle lane. They want to try and take down the Zeus. Zeus does have a bottle, but it's being ferried, bullock road by walking courier. It's still below the 3rd minute mark as Rise is getting gilled up. Clap comes out as well as a cold snap. That's going to be a nice clean kill. I was going to say, like, someone has to throw out the last hit. But nice clean kill for ZXC's Invoker. And the courier of the Zeus actually taking a detour after putting the bottle in.
Wait, they didn't kill the courier. Okay, no, they didn't.
They did not. Couriers live. But you're taking a look at who is playing what. We have got for the retry. It is Below Your Brain on the Klinks, who is sitting okay on last hit. Highest last hitter on the map for the moment, and of course is able to harass Ace quite a bit as well. We have got him supporting him is PGG, who did die as a first blood, but did manage to also help getting a kill for mid. He's gonna be the Venomancer. Chen played by Android P. He's already got a level 2.5 here in the mid lane. It's ZXC on the Invoker, where he got a kill.
Unicorn. It's gonna get neutral creeps to death. Okay, he's just gotta use the south.
Well, Paradise is actually gonna be.
Bat Rider's destroying this off lane.
Yeah.
He's just doing so well.
Well, it is going to be a Paradise by Bat Rider. Bat Rider by Paradise, rather. And he is sitting at level 3 and almost level 4, actually. He's doing really well. He might not have gotten First Blood like his offlane counterpart, but his levels are really strong as well.
Yeah, I think even with the fact that the Centaur does have that kill, Bat Rider is still doing just great.
You want to introduce Meet Your Makers?
I should, yeah, sorry. So it's going to be Ace on the offlane Centaur, doing quite well for himself so far, level 5. Rise is the Zeus in the mid, does have that one death, but, he's Zeus, that's life. And then it'll be a tri-lane in the bottom lane composed of Crit on the Dazzle, Link is on the Spectre, and then Unicorn XOXO. We used to see playing hard one roll, but seems to have transitioned into support. He's on the Sand King.
Yeah, he's going for that fast Blink Dagger if he can get it. As he actually just himself blocked the big camp, which is a bit of a shame, but okay. There's different camps where you can go to. But yeah, that's gonna be our lineups. It is of course still gonna be on paper in favor of Meet Your Makers. They are so far undefeated here in the Excellent Moscow Cup, while the Retry is having 4 games played with only 1 of them being a victory. But they're looking to turn this around. They don't have their full lineup, but with Blow Your Brain instead of Nexus, it's not as a stand-in that they have to be sad about. I think Blow Your Brain is an excellent player, and as you already mentioned, a good player on the Clinks as well. And he is getting his farm up. He is doing okay. He is still high on last hits. He is building towards a fast Orchid, and he could definitely be throwing. Well, that's actually Dutch saying that I was about to say. So he could be very scary.
Yeah, I remember that they when Funnick left, basically, they still wanted to play the Clink-centric strats, so they just gave it to Blow Your Brain, and he wasn't quite as good at it as Funnick was. Funnick's Clink's, of course, really legendary. Even Navi has whipped it out sometimes to sort of surprise people, but even though that's not the style they play at all. But I think Blow Your Brain is pretty competent in this role as well. And so, yeah, obviously, he hasn't been killed. He's not last hitting amazingly, honestly, he could be doing a little better.
He's still on top.
He is on top, but he's dead.
Whoa, he's dead. Double disable.
Dust, yeah, exactly. Dust in the stuns. I think it's very smart to bring the Sand King up here, because if the response from the other team is to pull the supports off, the 1v1 Clinks is still very good in, but then the Sand King can completely tip the scales.
Yeah, and they, before
they're gonna
that,
just kill,
Zeus
they're gonna go for
actually
Peg
uses
again. They're gonna go for him. They're going.
PGG, Stampede. The Gale still hits, but doesn't matter with that Stampede. That's gonna be another kill. Sand King gets it. I like that before they actually went for that engagement, as in before they went for the Clinks, Zeus actually used his ultimate, and they knew that the supports weren't in range to actually help the Clinks. So that was pretty nice. Giving vision. Just using it for the vision. I think that's a bit underrated. Especially early game. I mean, it is of course a great kill steal kind of thing, or at least secure kill ultimate. And I actually mean secure kill, because then you get yourself nobody that runs away on low health to the base. But to give the vision, just to know what those supports are doing, is insanely valuable. And we do have Clinks actually his first rotation. Doesn't want to be top, goes for Rise, and I think Rise will go down.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Strafe combined with Cold Snap is yeah, life as Zeus is just not fun here, right?
True.
You really, when you have a mobile gank, when the other team is Veno, Chen, who can definitely rotate, and Clinks, who can rotate very quickly. Zeus is... I'm surprised that Dazzle actually is not spending more time just babysitting Zeus, frankly.
Yeah, he's not really needed against for the Spectre, to be honest. Spectre's doing okay.
It's less that he's not needed, although it's true, but it's also that, how is he going to kill Bat? He's not going to kill Bat.
He's not getting experience this way either. I mean, there's a ward up, so Bat Rider does know that there's a Dazzle around. And actually, they're going to try to go for him anyway. The poison went off, but it's only a level 3 Dazzle. In comes the Thunder God's Wrath again, just for vision, maybe helping out for the Bat Rider a little bit, but Link didn't even try to go for his ult and jump in or something, so they just let it go. They do force him back to base though, it's something.
Yeah, Midas Storm Invoker is going to be really important for Ziggsy to keep leveling here.
Yeah, PGG and Android P are actually on their way to try and go for Ace here. Ace does have his ultimate up, can also use it. In comes this, Stampede, Sunstrike. Doesn't work. He does get immensely slowed after the Stampede is over, but perfectly timed, and he gets out. He lives. Very nicely done for him as Rise in the meantime. I mean, he's still struggling. He's getting nice last hits. And actually with the burst strike coming in for Unicorn as well, the heal from the Dazzle actually enough to get the kill. In comes Spectre with the Haunt. He's still gonna get picked up though, might be in some trouble though. The Haunt has ended and 4 stacks of Sticky Napalm. He's not gonna be able to make it out of this alive. Burst strike maybe, and Unicorn is gonna be able to help Spectre live, and indeed he does. Nice reaction from the Sand King, just teleporting in instantly. And Link lives, has a self as well, and I actually thought he was gonna die, but nope, not today.
I gotta say, I think the thing that most impresses me, honestly, this is like the first. This series is sorry. These past couple of games are the first time I've really watched MYM and been like, in a while, been like, yeah, there's like something here, right? Like a lot of the time you see a new team like this, like one of these tier 2, tier 3 teams, and you're like, yeah, they're fine. Like they could take games off people, but like, I don't know what there is that really is gonna like propel them forward. But this crit Unicorn support pairing seems pretty legit, right? Like good rotations, good awareness.
Yeah, and they're like everywhere. Unicorn normally, as you mentioned, we got to know him as a carry player, but he has been playing amazingly. He's helped on kills top, he's helped on kill bottoms. He's been involved in 3 out of the 4 kills for his team so far. And he's just on the ball, as they call it. As he gets, or no, he doesn't get a burst strike up on ZXC. Dazzle, I'm finding that that crit. I mean, he was amazing in the previous game, but so far he is stacking. He's helping his team, or he's double pooling rather. But I'm not sure if it's enough. As the Stampede comes out, and actually Ace is not gonna get the kill on the Klings. He does still have new dust, but can't really hope to chase past the tower at this stage of the game. He does have his Blink Dagger though. That's a pretty scary.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Off lane Centaur with the 10-minute Blink Dagger and sitting in second highest for his farm in terms of farm.
Yeah. I think that's extremely scary because now with the Blink Stampede combined with Zeus ult, if they even have the faintest inkling of where Klinks is dead.
Yeah. Paradise is dead too, actually, because Ace teleported in, blinked in,
Also,
and
yeah, Blink Stampede's amazing.
Yeah,
Centaur's so good.
We do have a smoke
slept on this hero for so long. Sinking, getting hunted, but he has Burrow Strike. This isn't gonna be an easy kill. He doesn't have enough mana right now for Burrow and Sandstorm, but he's close.
Zeus teleported and cancelled his teleport. I don't think if that was intentional or not, but if it was, then he just saved his own life, and if it wasn't, he just unintentionally saved his own life. Because I think like he didn't have a burst strike, he couldn't get out if they actually caught him with a troll. I like it. Maybe going for some lightning there. A bit of a push coming out for the retry, and that's something that they're gonna have to do. I mean, they're so far not having their items ready to actually go for real pickoffs with, for example, an Orchid or a Batrider on the Blink on the Batrider. So they have to try and get their pushes going. They've got a decent push with the Chen, they've got the wards from the Venomancer, and they've got the 4 spears, of course, as well, which are now 2. Maybe get some early gold from towers if they can, but then again, Meteor Makers got a pretty strong defensive lineup as well. It's not an easy game for the retry, this for sure. What do you think is going to be their way to come back into this game? As again, Rise just uses ulti, just for vision, knowing where everybody is. So valuable.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not the longest cooldown. It's only 90 seconds. It's only a level 1 ult, so like it wasn't going to win the game anyway. It's interesting that he's going Aghanim's Scepter first. Or maybe Bloodstone, who even knows, Shiver?
I wouldn't mind Aghanim's Veil, Refresher, make it happen.
Veil's so good. I think Retry, the problem almost to me is not that they can't get back in the game, because I think Invoker Klinks is more, oh god.
Which Klinks were you talking about again? Because I don't see any Klinks anymore.
The one that just died. He needs to just like jungle. I would say a couple things, Shiver. They need wards desperately.
Yeah.
They have 0 wards up on the entire map right now. So wards are a need, getting some farm on Klinks in the jungle, probably, or under a ward is a need. The problem with Retry is I feel like sometimes they like dominate the lane phase, and then they only win like some of the time that they dominate lane phase, and sometimes they lose lane phase, and they like I've never seen Retry like get down early and come back to win. Like just not a stick-to-itiveness kind of team, right?
Yeah. And they are gonna try ZXC for the Necronomicon, which it could work out. We've seen Necronomicon Invoker before today, but I I find it is nice to have. Well, they're just gonna go for the push. More units. They already have a fairly high unit kind of lineup, if you will. But I'm not too sure if it's not just gonna feed gold to the enemy at the moment. They do have the Blink Dagger on the Batrider now, and that could be their saving grace. But yeah, I agree. We have not seen comebacks from the Retry. Centaur, Stampede, Stomp, PGG, you're dead. I have flashbacks. Oh, Batrider, you're by yourself. You can't get the skill. Maybe with the Clinks actually there. Zeus, thinking about going for his ultimate. Now he doesn't have mana anymore for it. But nobody dies here, even though Clinks does do quite a lot of damage. He's almost ready with his Orchid. As in the top lane, in the meantime, ZXC and Android are making use of their army and are trying to push down the tower. Fortification comes in, so they're gonna try and deny it. In comes the Thunder God's Wrath. Stomp as well, Hoof Stomp. Still Chen gets a tower, but they might get a kill in return for it. Hand of God though keeps ZXC up, and Ace is going to be the one to be running away from this one. Can there be another burst strike? No, they have to let it go. They're actually losing the tower without getting kills for it in return. The Retry, they won this fight, for sure. Without getting any kills for it, they don't die, which is their big victory in that one. And Orchid now done, of course, as well with that tower. That's going to be Clinks also starting on his potential death ball, but still has to be seen if he can actually find his targets, because which heroes is he gonna be picking up early or easy this way? Rice is gonna be a target that he really wants, but Rice is actually starting to be pretty tanky himself. Well, unless he gets picked up by a lasso, he will get picked up right now. There we go. Still get some damage out before he dies, but nonetheless dead. As the Haunt comes in, he knows that he can go for the Clinks, but the dagger's not enough. Not with the stick charges there. PGG looking to chase down Link. He should be careful though, because PGG is not really the highest health hero there. Turns in that the Retry gets a tower and a kill. And indeed, it could be a comeback. Stentor, what are you doing over there? He does get the kill on the Batrider, which is nice. But was it in
why not?
quite far? Why not?
He knows that they're not there, right? Because he just saw them all mid. So.
Yeah.
It's unpunished. This looks like he's gonna go pipe. I think it's sensible enough.
Yeah. And I mean, Goldgraph is actually in favor of the Retry at the moment.
But probably pipe.
What do you think about that? Hello? Do you need a moment again or not? Oh well. The Retry going for Roshan. Looking solid. They don't have extra minus armor, but they do have the Necronomicons and the Venomancer wards to help out. In the meantime, there was a smoke gank for Unicorn and Crit. The vision actually given again by the... Oh, I love that vision thing. Epicenter still goes off. They get the Clinks. Orchid doesn't do anything. That vision is just working wonders for them right now. Also scouted out the Roshan, and they're gonna try to dive in this. They don't have the Hunt, but they do have Ace jumping in. PGG already dead with the double edge flame break coming through though, and Aegis still gets picked up by Invoker. Link coming in too late. Desolate doing some work as Dazzle gets dragged and killed. Unicorn able to blink to the high ground. That's slow turn right. He will be able to get away though. And it looks like the rest is going to be able to get away as well. Or maybe not. Ace, he jumps in. He doesn't have mana for a stump, but it seemingly doesn't matter. Looks for Android. Has got a double edge up in 2 and should be able to get a kill with that as well. Tries. Doesn't get the kill actually. Android gonna get Burrow Strike to death as Ace runs for his life. But it is Invoker that gets himself another kill there as Zeus still lightning bolting away. Might be trying to go back in. PGG is very low, but not low enough to dive for. And also not a hero to die for, so he backs off. As ZXC? Nah, he's gonna be okay. He has an Aegis as well, so Unicorn has to be careful here. And there's a Centaur standing right there. Link.
Yeah, that was so weird. Is the Sunstrike gonna hit? Oh,
nope,
nice.
But Link's arrow is. Good fight for the Retry for sure. I mean, they lose some targets, but.
Sorry about that.
Don't joke.
You're just seeing the Clinks damage really is like almost the main thing that is in the Retry's favor. Just the fact that they can dish out so much damage, and Spectre isn't tanky enough, Centaur isn't tanky enough yet to handle it. I don't really agree with the Vanguard pickup as a result. I actually think Pipe would be a big deal just to stop some Clinks attacks or like Veno damage or Invoker or something.
Yeah. And his own damage that he does with Double Edge. Which is also quite painful. But overall, I mean, Meteor Makers, I still kind of feel like they're ahead. But they're losing their grip. The Retry has got some good comebacks, and it feels like maybe Meteor Makers is a bit too cocky. But the Retry, they're on the hunt.
Yeah.
They're constantly fighting, looking for kills, and they're finding them as well. As Klinks is being shadowed right now by Batrider. Batrider has smoke picked off. Lasso grabs crit. The silence is there as well, but the hunt, the stomp, they find him, they kill him. That's gonna be Killing's dead for Dazzle, not a worthy trade at all. Looks like Meteor Makers was ready for that. In the meantime, the rest of the Retry trying to take down the tier 1 bottom lane, but they have to be fast or have to be very ready to fight without that Klinks, because it's gonna be well, it's gonna be a dangerous ordeal here as the lightning comes out again. Given that vision, Sand King has got that burst strike epicenter, and he's actually gonna go for it, charging it up, blinks forward, looks for the burst strike, finds PGG. PGG gets picked up by the Spectre. It's gonna be ZXC that will be sent home after landing a deafening blast. Or actually, did he send home a creep instead? Spectre still goes down though, so ZXC is happy that he didn't get sent home, because that's a worthy trade. They also get the Sand King. Who did he send home? I saw the animation go off. He did send someone home. Oh, he sent a creep home.
Yeah,
It is his
I
troll
think
that
he
he
sent
sent
a-
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is they get Spectre again. I don't think any of this really marks MYM. Like, none of this will lose them the game, but it's certainly not
It's not
a
getting
good
them ahead.
time.
Yeah, and they still lose their tower as well. I mean, the Retry is getting ahead on gold.
And Invoker now with, I mean, the Necro 3 is a huge deal. The still having the Aegis is a huge deal, and now Force Staff. So yeah, ZXC. I mean, we talked about it. This guy's a really, really solid player and a good addition to the Retry's full-time roster. So definitely pulling his weight in this game, and they really do need like BKB's pipes.
On Meteor Makers, you mean? Yeah. Or on the Retry. Actually, they need BKBs on both sides. But ZXC has got his level 3 on the Necronomicon ready. So that's going to be helping out a ton as well, as there is quite a bit of AoE damage coming around, especially with that Centaur's Hoof Stomp and Double Edge. If there's new Necronomicon units around and they die from that, that Centaur is not going to be a happy one, for sure, as Crit's able to counter ward that ward right there. Nicely done for him. We've got ourselves... sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to like turn off my push to talk when I'm coughing like an idiot.
You should not cast if you're not gonna be like healthy afterwards. Oh,
I'm healthy.
Blinks in some trouble there. He's
Yeah, I love
dusted up.
this.
There's gonna be
Like
another
you
burst
said,
strike in a
the-
second. Hunt comes like he actually hunts forward. And that
They
Spectre
have
with a
such a good
radiance.
anti-Clinks composition, but
Yeah.
it seems like they just don't have anything against Invoker right now still.
True. Especially not Invoker with an army of minions, to be honest. They've got a very good solo pickup target, unless they have the perfect... They have also a good PGG pickup, actually, as ZXC. This time he is going to be the one to get sent back home, and he lives. So, although he would have lived with an Aegis as well. Android in some trouble, getting chased and probably dying. There we go. 3 dead for 1 Dazzle. Good fight for Meteor Makers, and I don't even feel like they really tried. It was more that the retry kinda wasn't overextending, so yeah. And I don't want to have the same thing happen as previous time we casted, where you were like ill again the day after, so.
No, it wasn't your fault, Shiver. Hey. No. I had nothing whatsoever to do with that.
Okay, good. Well, as long as you're okay, then it's fine. As
I think mech will... Do you think mech will help a lot here? I feel like... I don't know. Maybe the mech on Rise will actually make it that even if they kind of, like, mess up their initiation or, like, don't get the kills they need, they can at least, like, live long enough to just win.
I think so, because with the Radiance and the mech now ready, I mean, they have a Dazzle and a mech for sustain. If the fights last long enough, the retry is not particularly tanky. Not even Klinks. He might put out a lot of damage, but he's not really the tankiest hero of them all. He has picked up an Overclock though, so he is turning into to having a BKB, and that will definitely help out. But if Meteor Makers can slow that BKB down even just a little bit, that will already be a big step for them. And the biggest step for them in this game would be that they might finally get some towers, because even though they've got good killing potential, they've got immensely crappy pushing potential, which is something that the retry has. They've already taken down 4 towers, while the retry themselves is still sitting on all 6 outer towers.
Yeah, I think this is a very good... I actually feel pretty bad. I said something pretty mean about Retry earlier, which was like, I've never actually seen him come back, and I don't know if they heard me, but this is pretty legit. Like, this is a very... Like, they've really pulled it together and played, like, this is the appropriate way for, like, a team that's behind but has, like, solid mid-game potential to play, and they made all the right decisions.
Yeah. They do, Meteor Makers does take 2 towers down in a span of a bit of a minute, so Meteor Makers get some extra gold. They are also teleporting back, looking to fight this. But they have to, because the retry, they're not planning on stopping. They actually smoke up. Oh, Ace though jumps in the hunt as well. Andor's gonna be the first target. Still gets a mech in the hand of Godov though before he goes, which is the most important thing. But he's the only one to die for the moment. The Spectre now going for the Klings. Double Edge will take him down. Ace with a double kill crit, being kept alive by his grave for the moment. As there's a stomp and a burrow strike and 2 extra death. That's a team wipe. That was the fight that Meteor Makers needed.
Yeah, and they do really have the vastly, like, their team fight. If it's just a pure 5-on-5 and it doesn't begin with an initiation, like Centaur Blink plus Sand King Blink, tremendous AoE stun potential, great damage with the Zeus, like, that's what you'd expect to happen in every fight. It's surprising it hasn't happened more often, but yeah. Retry, I mean, they knew they had the timing, they knew they could do some damage to the tier 3 tower, and they did, but unfortunately they are not prepared for a fight like that. Klinks really needs a full BKB before they even have any shot of surviving something like that.
Yeah, they were kind of fighting against the clock, I guess, because they didn't want to deal with the Spectre with the Radiance, which, you know, turned out not to go so well. This could be, like, the retry, this could be the chance, like, where they had a chance to win this game before 25 minutes, and they just blew it. And that's also because their lanes just didn't go so well. But it could be the turnaround again. I mean, we had a couple of turnarounds this game. Meteor Makers, though, they can still definitely also lose control over this game if that Klings gets too big.
Game is still extremely throwable. They're not more than like 1 throw ahead.
But look at the experience graph. I mean, the gold graph is even after that fight, but the experience graph is the thing that scares me most at this point.
But that's like the whole difference, that entire difference in XP is basically 1 team fight, right? So 1 team fight going the other way would be the entire difference again, and gold is now perfectly even also as a result of 1 team fight. I mean, it's tough. The thing is, it's really hard for TR to just dominate a 5 vs 5 team fight. Like,
yeah, they have to
again, like, going back to, like... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't want to say anything. I wanted just to add.
Oh, like, yeah, like, going back to, like, you have to just think, like, what's the best case scenario? Like, what does a team fight look like that TR just, like, 5 for 0s, like, MYM? It's almost impossible, right? Like, they're guaranteed to at least lose 2 or 3 until they get a lot more items. It's more like pickoffs. It's more like this Klinks finding people. But then, you know, there's a Centaur in the way. It's like, well, RIP.
Yeah, down goes PGG. Doesn't even get his Poison Oath off. Sunstrike doesn't really do that much damage for ZXC, but he is able to force himself up to the high ground. Brilliant force from him as the Klinks just gets left to die. Same thing goes for the Chen. They still also get ZXC though, because Meteor Makers is so incredibly mobile.
Yeah. They really have eked out every single, and I think that was a really great highlighting by you of the Zeus ult vision. Like, how much has that won for MYM? Like, it almost makes you reevaluate the entire purpose, right? Like, you actually, as long as you have global mobility, you don't need to have, like, the comp to be fully global. Even though, like, yes, obviously they have Centaur, obviously they have Spectre, but it's just the Zeus that's really setting everything up by giving them that perfect understanding of where and what to do.
Yeah, it's a bit weird as well because Klinks, I mean, he realized that he was getting attacked by neutrals because he walked past the ward and what's it? Aggressive force staff?
The Dota slide there with the Veno got force staff, but he wasn't facing the right way, and the double edge was already in flight at the point that he got force staffed. So the Centaur did it a little bit of like zoop.
Ouch. Poor PGG. Not having an easy game. We see him struggling in games more often than not. He's 0-9-7 at this point, where Klinks is actually looking to maybe grab someone. Like, he has to hunt by himself, but it's almost impossible because Meteor Makers is doing such a good job at being mostly together. And even if, like, they're not being left alone at all.
This composition destroys Klinks. Like, every single one of these heroes is amazing against Klinks, basically, right? Like, Dazzle can grave somebody, like Zeus can, obviously if he gets on Zeus it's good, but if Zeus like isn't the target, like you just don't have any chance.
Oh, ZXC, he goes invisible actually, but the dust there,
dust.
You can't really hope to get invisible and to stay invisible if you're having a Klinks in your team in the meantime. Exactly. On the other side of the fight, Lynx fights 2-on-1 and actually gets 1 kill and gets almost the other as well, but not in time. If he had treads, perhaps no. Without the
nice defensive work it onto the Sand King to save Blow Your Brain, but it doesn't... it's like a very corner play. They're kind of just getting run off the map because MYM, even with that sort of weird mid game where they just were sort of fucking around, like they know what their strat is supposed to do, and ever since then they've just been doing it, and they're just completely running TR off. Just the mobility with the blink daggers, the stampede. The fact is, stampede plus blink dagger gets you across half the map, right? Like,
Yeah, it does. They're so mobile. Link can be anywhere at one time. Of course, there's also a blink on the Sand King, and Ryze doesn't need to be that mobile. He just needs to provide vision, which he can now do extra well because he got an Ags and Ims as well.
yeah.
So
And this BKB is too late probably from Clinks. It's a good thought, and I'm glad he's making it, but he also Invoker's still 500 more gold for his BKB. Those are so important, but unfortunately they're just coming a little bit late. But I mean, maybe that's definitely what they need.
They of course they wanted to have it when they pushed in towards that bottom lane when they were still looking okay with that big one fight, which was the first fight with the Radiance up on Link basically. Maybe if they get the Roshan, the Aegis, that would be something that the Retry needs if they want to have a chance, I feel, because if they have Meteor Makers at the Roshan, that's going to be high ground for them, most likely. Then again, Zeus has his ult up again. If he wants to have some vision, then he can get it. And then see, oh, everybody's around the Roche pit. I wonder what they're going to do. By the way, I mean, when we had that fight in the bottom lane, we did point out that there were no towers down on the Retry just yet. There's now 4 towers extra down. They haven't taken out the bottom lane just yet. Oh, Paradise wants to go for Crit. He grabs him. In comes the arrows, and Crit will be picked up there by that Soulburn. Ryze, trouble for him.
God.
Actually, no trouble for him at all. He's getting saved. In comes Unicorn, gets the Cling skill as well as Ace is going for ZXC. He might have a BKB, but that physical damage is still quite painful, and that's a triple kill for Lynx. GG.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with
That's
this
a
anymore.
GG. At this point, Spectre, once you lose... These last 2 fights have really made it
Yeah.
so the Spectre just like leapfrogged way above to the point where like they always knew, like as we mentioned earlier, like they always knew at a certain point Spectre's
Yeah.
just gonna win. They
Time
have no
bomb,
answer to Spectre,
Spectre.
period. Yeah, Spectre beats Clinks. Like, sorry, like it's the end of the story there. I don't know. I do feel like Retry sort of they played pretty well. Like they did more of a comeback attempt than we usually see from them, but I don't know. PGG was pretty burdened this game. Like even in that last fight, he ulted a Spectre Illusion and a dead Dazzle, like a Dazzle at 100 HP, and he wasn't like dying when he did that. He was just like, okay, I'm gonna push my ult button now.
Yeah. It's
Like you can't. You need your Veno to do more than be 11-8. Like it's okay for Veno to die a lot. Like it's the
Yeah.
destiny of the hero.
he walks
Obviously,
in,
like,
presses
everybody knows
R,
about the Melka
probably
ward,
won't make
yeah.
it out.
But when he walks in and pushes ult button, like it has to hit people.
Yeah.
Like walking in to nothing and pushing your ult and then dying is like
Yeah, not so good.
generally not recommended.
No, we've seen him struggle quite a few times, and previous game that we saw of the Retry as well is just either people just don't like PG and they constantly kill him, or he is just not so strong on positioning like he used to be, and he used to be strong on positioning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's not
This game,
like, yeah.
I think this game was pretty interesting. This game to me shows like the power of like what Centaur really brings to your team. Like I don't know, there still was a lot of obviously it's gone now. Like everybody knows Centaur is good now, but even like a month or 2 ago, people were talking about Centaur and just kind of like thinking the hero's not that good. But like Stampede, any global is serious business. First off, like you can't discount any hero that has a global. Secondly, the combination, like people are like, oh, like it's just a blink and I already have a blink, but like 2 blinks is so much better than 1 blink. Like the ability to get across half the map with any of your heroes at any point is so like fundamentally broken that you can't think a hero is anything other than very strong if they have access to that. And like the fundamentals of the hero aren't bad either. They just got an AoE stun. Like AoE stuns are good.
I have to say, I also like the way Ryze played that Zeus. He had a rough time mid, but just using it for the
Inevitably.
vision was so good.
Yeah, like he was basically a support mid Zeus. Like,
Yeah.
he was just setting up for the Spectre and Centaur to have a good time. But they owe their 11-1, 12-1 records in large part to the map vision and like de-stealth aspects of the
Yeah.
Zeus ult.
So strong. It was really like refreshing to see. I mean, we saw Zeus earlier on in this week where it was just, you know, your normal mid Zeus, but actually using this ultimate so often just for the vision, it was so valuable, especially when you have a team like the Retry that at the mid stage of the game, they need to have Klings basically rotating, trying to find pickoffs, so they need to have the support rotating as well. So yeah, I really liked seeing that. Of course, Meteor Maker is hereby still undefeated in the Excellent Moscow Cup, while the Retry is sitting on 1-4 right now, so 5 games played, 1 win, 4 losses, and that means with 8 wins now, Meteor Makers, they're about guaranteed to make it to Moscow. And that's where the playoffs will happen. That's
a little
very
bit of a
exciting.
journey for them, but not too bad. It's not too bad from Denmark.
No, it's okay.
You can train probably, but I assume they'll fly.
I am gonna assume they fly, yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably some ways to do that fairly
EU
cheap.
euros and your affordable airfare.
No, there's no affordable airfare here.
Are you kidding me? It's better than the air.
No.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, absolutely. You
Give
have
us an
more.
example.
So first off, you guys have more like low-cost air options
No.
to get from place to place. Like you have a lot more like really shitty airlines that like are cheap.
Maybe.
Right?
Some of
Like,
them have gone
things
broke
like
though,
Ryanair
over the
and
last
stuff.
couple of years.
Have they?
Yeah, or
So
have went back
it's been
to
a few years
only...
since I've been in Europe, to be
Yeah.
fair. I
What-
haven't been in Europe since like
Ryanair, I don't think they
2010.
transport people anymore. I think they only transport cargo.
Well, really?
I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Maybe
you're
that was
probably right.
Martin
Like I said, I was last in Europe in like 4 years ago, so or 5 even.
I'm not gonna check because I'm not sure.
All
No,
right,
okay,
well,
it's still people. Then it was Martin Air that went. Oh, look!
right.
For 17 euros, you can go somewhere.
That's pretty cheap. Like
You have to
flying somewhere
still
for 70
calculate
euro
the
in
taxes
America
in
is
there.
like not a thing.
You can go to Warsaw with that.
Good.
That's Poland. That's pretty
That is
far.
Poland.
But you still like I said, you still have to have. Like you fly from from an airport that is not that is kind of remote, so you have to go there by train.
Right.
Train is expensive, so that's basically doubles the price ticket already, and then you have to still pay taxes and stuff. You know, okay, it's maybe
taxes.
yeah,
Man.
taxes are expensive for airports, to be honest. Like that's more than the ticket.
They are. Yeah. There's lots of tariffs and fees and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was it for the Excellent Moscow Cup, though. So, thank you for watching, and make sure you follow this tournament a bit more, because it is definitely a good tournament to follow with some great matches as well. For tomorrow is the 10th, isn't it? Yes, there's only one game scheduled for the moment, but that might actually be cancelled. But Rock's Kiss will be going up against Q Insane if that game continues on, which is at 1700 CEST time, so that's 5 p.m. in the afternoon CET time in Central Europe. Make sure you tune in then, and stick around for watching commercials if you want to, and otherwise just have a great night.
Are you pubbing today?
Today, I don't think anymore. Maybe,
All right.
but I need to
That's
have
cool.
some. I need to make some VODs first. So
Oh yeah. Fair enough. Let me know if you are. I might play some video games.
okay, we'll let you know. Normally, I don't pub that much in the evening though, so we'll see.
That's true. That's true.
This is true. Oh wow, we have been too long in the game, so now the game disappears. Well,
I mean, we're
any
just
shout-outs or
chatting.
plugins before we head off?
No, shoutouts to Cough Drops. Cough Drops are legit. No, thank you very much, Shiva, for having me on today. Thanks also to G Advance, who I know has been doing some fill-in casting because you've had some other engagements. We were going to cast today, but I think you finished up your other thing, so he very graciously. I told him he could definitely take the co-caster chair, but he was like, he taught me a word. Oh yeah. Double shoutouts to G Advance because he taught me a new word today. Shed loads. Which is just shitloads, but instead of shit, it's a shed. Like a shed that is full of a load of whatever it is that you're talking about. No, okay, yeah, that's what I said. That's exactly what I said. He said, no, it's not necessarily that. It could be full of anything. But yeah, it's basically shitloads, but you can say it and
It's
not
polite.
get like censored in America. Yeah, shed loads. It's even, like, I thought it was just like a pure euphemism, and it is like obviously colloquial, but it's in the Oxford English, so shed loads. Use it today.
Cool. That's actually something I didn't know. I've been
Yep,
cursing
so
way too much lately, but now I will use shitloads.
Shed loads, yeah. No, it's legit. And shoutouts to G Advance for sharing that tidbit as well.
Yeah, and as you said, shout out to G fans for casting in my stead earlier on today when I was indeed preoccupied by another tournament. So yeah, but tomorrow we'll be back. More games, more Dota. It's always good. As find Vickermon on Twitter. Follow him on @Vickermon on Twitter. There you go. I did it for you.
You can definitely follow me. That's true.
So there you go. Any last plugins then, or not? Are you done?
No. Thanks. I'm gonna go like sneeze. Bye.
Okay, bye. And of course, also thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter @ShiverGaming, and I will be back tomorrow. In come some commercials and stuff, but yeah, thank you for watching. We're done.